Not only with his music, but also with his unique personality and sensational lifestyle, Michael Jackson earned a solid place for himself in music history. Often referred to as the King of Pop, Jackson influenced millions of people even after his tragic passing in 2009. But have you ever wondered what happened to all of Michael Jackson's money after his passing? Watch to the very end to find out. The beginning and the end. Starting his career by performing in the Jackson 5, which was founded by his father and siblings, Marlon, Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine, the band's song, I Want You Back, achieved reaching #1 on Billboard Hot 100 in the US. Around 1971, Michael started working on his solo career and released 4 solo albums with Motown only within a 3-year period. However, it was his 5th solo record, Off the Wall, that helped him establish a successful solo career. Throughout his almost 45 years in music, Michael Jackson released several hit songs, including Beat It, Billie Jean, and Thriller, which made him the most awarded musician in the history of music. 15 Grammy Award winner iconic singer's 13 songs were also ranked as #1 on Billboard Hot 100. Besides his successful professional career, Michael had quite a sensational lifestyle, which according to some of his fans, led him to his death. He had to struggle with many health problems, one of which caused the patches of his skin to lose their pigment and grow paler. Jackson also faced accusations of child sexual abuse by a 13-year-old boy and his father, which ended up with a settlement agreement of him paying the family $25 million. In 2009, only a few weeks before his This Is It show in London, Michael sadly passed away due to cardiac arrest. His death was caused by a propofol overdose since he had taken propofol, lorazepam, and midazolam, which were given by his personal physician. Following the passing of one of the greatest musicians of all time, people around the world mourned his death by conducting various events. Jackson left an important legacy for the music industry and a lot of unanswered questions, mostly about the status of his money and estate behind him. Michael Jackson's actual net worth. Despite being one of the best-selling musical artists of all time, Michael Jackson's finances were far from stable during his life. He made an enormous amount of money throughout the course of his career, selling hundreds of millions of records. It's estimated that Jackson made about $2 billion throughout the course of his life. Forbes named him the highest-paid entertainer in the world twice during his lifetime. Although Jackson had the capacity to make an enormous amount of money, it was matched by his ability to spend it. He spent $19.5 million to purchase the 2,800-acre ranch that would become Neverland, and much more on transforming it into his dream home. The ranch allegedly cost about $10 million per year to maintain, with a staff of 160. As a small example of Jackson's willingness to spend money, he bought the Best Picture Academy Award won by Gone with the Wind for $1.5 million and had it rotating on a pedestal in his lounge. In 1985, Jackson purchased ATV Music, who had a 4,000-song catalog, for $47.5 million. The collection included the entire Beatles song library. He would retain ownership of the catalog until his death in 2009. Sony later purchased the catalog for $750 million in 2016. Jackson's hugely lucrative music career and a constant stream of royalty payments should have been enough to provide a comfortable living even with his lavish lifestyle. His true financial issues came when Jackson took out a number of loans in order to enable his most excessive spending habits. Alvin Melnick, one of Jackson's financial advisors to whom he seemingly paid little notice, discussed the pop icon's spending in a 2006 interview. Melnick said he felt that Jackson had no real sense of fiscal responsibility or a logical understanding of money. Jackson, even after loaning money, would spend millions on chartering private planes, buying paintings, and antiques. It seems he had little grasp on the reality of the situation, and his detachment from the true nature of things was a recurring issue throughout his life. The Jackson estate. As Michael Jackson died in 2009 while in significant debt, the value of his estate is subject to much debate. He allegedly owed more than $400 million at the time of his death, and his net worth was said to be $236 million, meaning he owed an impossible amount to repay. However, the sale of his share of ATV Music to Sony for $750 million would indicate that this wasn't entirely accurate. Jackson had an enormous amount of wealth tied up his assets, whether or not he was willing to part with them. The IRS valued the estate at $1.3 billion and said his likeness was worth $434 million. His estate took issue with those numbers, saying that it was far more than any other iconic celebrity and that the IRS was simply trying to enforce an exorbitant inheritance tax. Who inherited Michael Jackson's money and estate? Michael Jackson had 2 failed marriages and 3 children. His first marriage was with Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley. However, their relationship was ended in divorce only a year later. While he was on a tour in Australia, Michael got married to his second wife, Debbie Rowe, who was a dermatology nurse. The couple had 2 kids together, Prince Jackson and Paris Jackson. Sadly, their marriage was also ended in divorce almost 4 years later. Debbie got the custody of their children along with a settlement of $8 million. He also had another son named Blanket Jackson using surrogacy. According to his will, 40% of Michael's assets were left to his children and split evenly among the 3 of them. The other 40% was left to his mother, Catherine, while the remaining 20% of his assets were left to various children's charities. What happened to Neverland? After Jackson's death, reports claim that his family intended to bury him at Neverland and turning it into a place of pilgrimage for his fans, much like what Graceland is to Elvis Presley. However, the singer's father, Joseph Jackson, later denied the reports. Since 2009, the rides Balloon Samba, Jeeps, Wave Swinger, and Dinos have been featured attractions at the California State Fair in Sacramento. In October 2010, reports claim that Michael Jackson's children intended to buy the property. However, the neglected ranch fell into disrepair. The amusement rides and animals were gone by 2013 and replaced with a meditative Zen garden and a section decorated with Peter Pan. In May 2015, Neverland Ranch was named Sycamore Valley Ranch and was put up for sale with an initial price tag of $100 million. By then, Colony Northstar had completed extensive renovations to the property, with many people, including fans, protested against the decision. The ranch was sold by Sotheby's International Realty with an asking price of $100 million. The price included the 12,598 square foot 6-bedroom mansion, the 4-acre lake with waterfall, a pool house, 3 guest houses, a tennis court, and a 5,500 square foot movie theater and stage. Due to the lack of interest, the asking price dipped to $67 million and was still on the market in early 2018. In February 2019, the asking price of the ranch was reduced to $31 million, and in December 2020 was bought by billionaire businessman Ron Burkle for $22 million. Still making money after death. In November 2019, Forbes released a list of the highest-paid dead celebrities, and a familiar name came on top. Consecutively for 7 years, and for the 9th time since his death in late 2009, Michael Jackson has remained the highest earner when compared to other dead celebrities. Jackson was able to make so much money because of the sales of the shares he had in 2 big music publishing companies, Sony ATV Music and EMI. The bigger of the 2 deals dates back to 1981 when Jackson was staying in Paul McCartney's place. In the midst of discussions about music, McCartney was able to share with Jackson about how lucrative it could be to purchase rights to other songwriters' songs and earn royalties from them. Jackson, fascinated by the whole idea, jokingly said he was going to someday buy the Beatles' back catalog. About 4 years later from when he said this, he purchased ATV Music. This deal included the whole Lennon-McCartney song catalog. The deal was sealed for $4.75 million. Not long after, ATV merged up with Sony to become the biggest music publishing catalog in the world. This was a big deal for Jackson. In 2016, just about 7 years from when Jackson died, his estate sold off his 50% shares in the Sony ATV publishing company for $750 million, which is about 15 times what he invested originally. About 2 years later from when the shares were sold in Sony ATV Music, Sony made a payment of $287.5 million to Jackson's estate, the value of Jackson's 9.8% investment in the EMI Music Publishing Company. These deals were able to generate over $1 billion for the Jackson estate. However, all of Jackson's success cannot be attributed to just the sales of his stakes in other songwriters' music alone. There were also funds coming in from other sources. Jackson's music stays lucrative, and just in January, Broadcast Music Inc. decided to extend their 41-year-old deal to continue to represent Jackson's back catalog. This means that BMI will continue to help in collecting Jackson's royalties from his music played on the radio, internet, and television, and a large chunk of those royalties go towards Michael's family and kids, who are all adults now. With that, we end today's video. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Lastly, join in on future videos for more of such interesting content.